all the
So I think what matters is probably volume more than anything else.
I guess Gorba, I mean, you have some other point is that if I use the same volume in 100 mm bore, does it make a difference? That is what something
Yeah. So it also depends on the nozzle. I mean, like because the nozzle size is like what 20 mm from the inlet, right? So I mean, the way the angle will be there, I mean, it will not go that much. So you will basically waste the zeolite at the edge. So you will not be able to have much interaction with the zeolite at the edge.
Yeah.
So if you have a longer this, it can channel more air throughout all the zeolite. So that would make a difference.
So basically, longer is better, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. And any other inputs from Anul, maybe, or what should we do to make it till at least 10 LPM? Maybe our compressor is not that much, the capacity is not that much that it can reach up to 18 or 20 LPM. But what if we want to reach till 10 LPM?
I think we'll have to make multiple compressors. So I think first important thing is measuring input LPM. I think once you have that number, how much LPM each compressor is providing under pressure.
Okay.
That will tell us how much output we can get.
Okay. And anybody has a very clear idea that what is the relation between PSI and LPM?
Directly related. So here's my logic. There's 20% oxygen in air. So if you want 20 LPM output, you need let's say 100 LPM input, right? And then you have to account for losses and all that. So make it double of that, let's say 200 LPM. That's a rough figure.
So here's another version to it. So if you check the data sheet of the compressor, right? I mean, the compressor comes with like a rating where it says 4 psi, then 230 LPM, 2 psi, sorry, 4 psi, then 180 LPM, and 1 psi like 230 LPM, and 2 psi like 200 LPM.
I'm not sure if you can trust those numbers, Gorba. That's the thing.
So I have for my compressor. So he has given like what psi is what LPM. Okay. So in this case, let's say if you are if you're pushing at 4 bar, so I said PCI, I'm sorry for that. So if you're pushing air at 3 bar, so in my case, my compressor, it is pushing around 200 liter per minute. So 200 liter per minute into that 3 seconds or whatever the time you have, is that much amount of air which is entering your system. Okay. So and then what you produce, with the loss and everything, you get basically like whatever you get is oxygen. So more air which enters, the more liter per minute which enters that for that particular amount of time, like let's say 3 seconds, 4 seconds, or whatever. Okay, so that is the amount of oxygen that you produce. So the PSI is really not, it doesn't matter. What matters is the air volume which is entering the seed and the time it stays inside the seed. So that is the reference. So if you basically, if I use a 2 compressor, so my air input will go from 200 to 400 liter per minute. So that would basically double the, what do you say, double the capacity, the output that you get. Yeah. So and then the zeolite also makes a big difference because lithium has a different way of working and sodium has a different way of working and all that. So if you have sodium, I mean, like you might get a lesser output because the ion exchange in sodium is different than the lithium one. So you might get more volume for the because there is a lot of loss. The nitrogen purge basically has a lot of loss of oxygen. So we are, I think, we are only making 45% oxygen with our current setup in the sodium. So basically, you're missing. Basically, let's say for 3
Efficiency is
seconds,
low.
efficiency is low.
Yeah.
And
Also,
any other inputs?
also more oxygen means more, I think, let's say zeolite and volume and all of that. So also just wanted to show you this. So smaller holes in the center, bigger ones over here.
Does this make a huge difference? Because we are 3D printing it, making this would be very easy for us.
It does. I mean, we laser cut this, but 3D would be equally easy, right?
So basically, ours is Sagar bhai, can you show the ones which we have made? It's almost I guess the Gorba had shared the design. We had just 3D printed that. It is not
Okay.
basically small holes in the center and big holes in the outer part. So does
Okay.
does that make a huge difference? Then we can 3D print it. That's also.
I think.
So,
I think it does.
just to add over there, I mean, once the first ones that we 3D printed, they deformed. That's another thing that we saw because of one, the pressure and the temperature and all of that is exposed to. So depending on so acrylic definitely worked better for us. One, and secondly, having unequal holes, just answering for Anul over there and allowing his voice to rest. So making unequal holes, so making the center part lesser holes, smaller holes in the center, as you can see, and bigger holes on the sides, basically makes the air sort of not just go straight through the center of the sieve, but allows it to sort of diffuse at the beginning itself.
So I think this will work out for Priyank because of the larger bore. I mean, this might work out for him.
Yes.
And
acrylic is stronger compared to a 3D printed part. So in case your material is not thick enough and things.
Basically, this one Vaibhav is an acrylic part with holes drilled, right?
Yeah.
It's an acrylic part, and you can see that we have stuck like rings to it, so make it thicker. So these are just concentric circles that are stuck to it.
Okay,
so you can use chloroform, or you can use quick fix, Fevikwik, sorry. Any of them work. Super glue or chloroform. Chloroform is better.
Okay, so the easy way is if you can take a printout of this layout, and if you can get the right diameter aluminum like a block cylinder, you can put on the aluminum block, and you can just with a drill press you can just drill it. That is also faster.
Yeah, of course. That's true.
Okay.
Yeah, but,
what else?
Sagar bhai, anything else to add?
Priyank, about your query for removing moisture from the moisture separator.
I didn't get you. What, Vinod?
You were asking about removing the water from the moisture separator, right? How you can do it automatically. So you have to go with the timer switch actually on the bottom of the moisture separator. And like every 10 minutes, like for a 500 millisecond or something like that, you can set it. So that like every 10 minutes, it will open for 500 or 300 millisecond, and whatever water it has accumulated, it will automatically drain out.
Okay. Yeah.
But keep the interval small so that it doesn't affect your system much.
Yeah, that can be done. That can be done easily. We'll do that.
And regarding your query for the diameter of the seal bed, actually, the better is to do with as smaller dia as possible. Don't try to go with a bigger dia. Again, there will be more disadvantages because as they say, you will not be able to diffuse the air through the zeolite column. So the narrower you go, you will get a better result.
That's true.
Perfect. Thanks for the inputs.
Yes, one more thing I want to add. The flow right now, if you can see, sometimes it reduces to 15 and then again it pushes to 25. I don't know why this is happening.
This is from the input side, Anul.
Yes.
Maybe this is the Anul. Means basically this is the input size, input flow rate.
Okay.
The input flow rate drops to 15 and then again it pushes to 25. 15 and 25.
But that's bound to happen, right? It switches back and forth. That's
Yes,
expected.
Okay.
So that cycle is going to happen all the time.
Yeah, that variation can be there, but input coming down to 15, it should not happen. It should be more actually.
Okay.
Okay. We can look into that as well, Sagar bhai.
Yes, so we can do the practicals over that, and then we can come up with some better figure, like how much it's
Okay.
dropping. We will try with one compressor first,
Yeah.
and then we
Yeah.
can see what's happening.
Maybe one of the compressors has a different cycle. Maybe that can be an issue.
Yes. That can be the issue.
Anything else from the team? And one more thing, Anuj, LabVIEW, I've done everything. I'm able to also sample run the Arduino LED code through LabVIEW.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
the firmware which Vijay has given to us, I also uploaded that firmware to my Arduino. But then that LabVIEW is not able to recognize that firmware and not able to communicate.
Okay. Let's look at it later.
Done.
Yeah. Is Vijay here today? I don't think so.
No, Vijay is not here.
Okay. Okay.
Yep, that's all from my side.
Something that Vijay messaged me this morning, though, if you're talking about Vijay on a slightly different note, is that doctors on ground have been saying that people recovering from COVID are having secondary issues and will be requiring oxygen concentrators, almost mandatory for recovery patients.
Okay. At home.
At home.
Yeah, there are a lot of people already experiencing that.
Wow.
Yeah. So
COVID is negative. Then also.
Yeah, so that's kind of sad, but at the same time, at-home use of these oxygen concentrators is also going to be an important use case going forward. So, which we've already discussed, but like looking into at-home use cases, which is easier to use and things like that, which just comes later, I guess.
Last one thing, Sagar bhai, can you is the oxygen analyzer attached to a system or oxygen sensor?
Yes, sir.
So this is the oxygen sensor. This is basically at this point connected in series. Can you show the oxygen sensor? So this is the way it is connected directly. And basically, oxygen is just passing through this. So I had a question yesterday also that will this produce? Is this disadvantageous to the sensor or not? Will this harm my sensor?
Can you show what's after this? Can you zoom out a little bit?
Yes.
Zoom out, pull out. Do you have a
Sagar
bleed
bhai,
valve?
zoom out. Sagar bhai.
On zoom out on what?
Can you show like where the blue pipe and the transparent tubing, where it is connected to?
Yeah.
Okay. It's open-ended.
Okay, open is not a good idea. So other side, if it's open to ambient, that means that the pressure, the flow is flowing out directly through your oxygen concentration, oxygen analyzer. So one thing is that it can be exposed to high amount of flow, which is not good for the oxygen sensor. That's one. The second thing is that you will also be catching ambient oxygen readings. So that will not give you correct oxygen readings. So putting a bleed valve or a flow regulator at the end will be important to reduce the flow.
And the blue wire is going directly into the flow meter. So we can put it between the flow meter and the low pressure regulator, right?
No, it's fine where it is. After this, you need to add a bleed valve to slow down.
Right?
Yeah, you need to reduce the flow going through the oxygen sensor.
Sagar bhai, we have the bleed valve. Just put it over there. Can you show me that the valve which has a opening and closing? I bought it yesterday.
Yes.
Can you show it in the screen? Is it the not this one, the small one with a nozzle? You can control the flow.
Yes, we have that.
Actually, show me the other side. Are you putting this after the humidifier?
Yes.
Yeah, this one. Yeah. But show me the other side. Is
Hello?
it after the humidifier or is it the flow meter? Okay, that's the flow meter. Or you're
Hello?
getting the output. Okay.
It's actually better to put it before the humidifier. I think.
Correct. Yeah, before the humidifier and even before the flow meter. Well, in
Directly here, right?
Before the flow meter will be better. Before the flow meter, you take a separate branch actually, and in that you put this flow, whatever the needle valve you have, the flow restrictor, and from that you connect your oxygen sensor.
So Priyank, here's our setup. This is about to see. So let me see if I can. So this
yeah, this will give you better results for sure.
This blue pipe is our output. That's going to the flow output flow meter. This is the oxygen output from here. We put a T here, and that goes to the sensor. And from the sensor, there is a bleed valve. So that's how it is.
Yeah, sorry, I got disconnected. So this is the bleed valve, right?
Okay. Once again.
That is a bleed valve, right? The little bit screw-like thing on the top.
Yeah. So this is the bleed valve.
So yeah,
Also,
I have this one. We can.
Also,
That's
Priyank,
the sensor.
just to be able to make time, maybe another one last question from your side before we move on to the other.
Yeah,
people as
yeah,
well.
I'm done. I'm done, Vaibhav.
Cool. Awesome.
Yeah, one small point, that valve will have a direction. So see the direction when installing.
Yeah, important.
Okay, perfect. Yes. Yeah, this is the one, right?
Yes, that's the bleed valve. That's good.
Yeah,
The
okay.
direction, you'll just have to check which side is it going. Which is the right direction to put for the flow. It
Yeah,
should
we'll
be
do
like
that.
an arrow.
Yeah, we'll do that. Thanks, Vaibhav. Thanks, Anu. Thanks, Vinod.
No problem. Moving it before the flow meter will give you better concentration results as well, because having it after and before actually has almost about 10% worth
Yeah,
of
I'll
difference.
do that.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Priyank. Thank you, everyone. Anyone else wants to go ahead and show us their system, and we can together discuss over it. Vinod, would you like to go?
No, not today. Not at the lab.
Not at the lab. Prathamesh? Okay, that's good then. Then Prathamesh, you have anything? Can't hear you.
You're not audible, Pratham.
Nope, cannot hear you. Just check your audio output settings on your Zoom. Nope, cannot hear you.
can't hear you.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hi.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Prathamesh.
Okay. I can't use headphone right now, so uh, hmm. Here is my system. Okay. I'm from Vigyan Ashrama, right? Here it is a search time. A compressor I'm using it is a 1.5 HP, and I will be going to replace it with 2.5 HP soon. But right now I am facing a issue. I have connected a solenoid valve which I did not connect it first. Right now I am facing a issue that oxygen output is not not going beyond 40%. Like it is going around 31 to 35%. Okay, I start my system.